Hey guys, Jay Hoyt here. Before this video gets started, we're still pushing for 200 subscribers here on the channel. We're still at like 5 away. So if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button down below. Help me hit that goal. Without further ado, we have our 12th and final CDL roster preview with OpTic Chicago. What's on, guys? Jay Hoyt back with you today. Wait a second. Welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We got another 60 bomb for you, this time on Armada Strike Domination. So I do hope you enjoy that in the background. But like I said in the intro, this is our 12th and final video of CDL roster previews. This time, of course, the home and native OpTic Chicago. So as we normally do throughout all of the videos that we did, we recap what they did last year. So this team wasn't a thing last year. So this team used to be the Chicago Huntsmen. Basically the same team though. With the initial roster of Scump, Envoy, Gunless, Arcides, and Formal, this team looked like an absolute god squad on paper, where they basically dominated all year long. Now, they didn't get first at every event, but they were definitely a dominant team. They were getting first through fourth at launch weekend, first at London, third, fourth at Atlanta, third, fourth at Dallas, third, fourth at Chicago, first in Seattle, fifth, sixth at Minnesota, second in New York, fifth, sixth at Toronto, and they ended up finishing in third at Champs. So I wanted to reiterate, this team was dominant all year long. They were always, with the exception of two events, they were always in the top 4, which was incredible. I mean, the teams that were there should have been there, with the exception of some teams that kind of got hot, you know, at the right times and ended up winning a couple of events. But this team also had a little bit of issues. Despite their success through the league, this team, you know, had some problems. So internal issues came about with Gunless. Now, Gunless has always been a superstar player, always super good, but it's his personality, his other than his gameplay has always been an issue. And that's why he's never really stayed on a team super long, was because of that. People just don't like teaming with him, and eventually he ended up getting moved to the bench. Chicago was then playing with their substitute general just to fill in as the world was waiting on what was really going to happen, which ended up being the signing of Pristini. Yes, Arcides' brother Pristini joined from the Florida Mutineers. And then would it help them? Yes. So after moving on from week 8, Pristini joins in. They won their first event together, but then kind of went inconsistent, where they would get first in their first event, they got 5th, 6th, then they went 2nd, 5th, 6th, and then like I said, they went to Champs. So at Champs, they did pretty well, right? They won their first match. I think it was against the New York Subliners, if I remember correctly. Then they ended up moving on for a rematch versus Atlanta, which unfortunately they ended up losing, before then making a losers bracket run, beating OpTic Gaming Los Angeles in a Game 5 Round 11, thanks to Envoy. Thank you for making that happen, winning the 1v1 against TJ Haley. Then they move on from that one. They beat London, and then another rematch versus the Atlanta FaZe. Unfortunately, they were on a hot streak, but Atlanta ran into Dallas, knocks them down. Atlanta then beats Chicago, dropping them out at 3rd place, but still making $600,000 as a team, finishing in 3rd place. So they were a dominant team, like I said, but how could they get even better? How could they move on from last year? They switched back to 4v4 like everyone, and then the new game, of course. But the biggest storyline of the Call of Duty offseason was Hex reacquired his brand, OpTic Gaming, the brand that I've been supporting since Call of Duty Ghosts, finally was back in his hands. Then he renamed Chicago Huntsman to OpTic Chicago, which left everyone in a great state of mind, right? Hex never wanted to give up his brand. Because of the circumstances, he just had to. So what did everyone want from that one? They wanted the boys back in town. Scump, Envoy, Formal, back in action. T2P back in the green and white. Envoy making his debut under OpTic. And then leaving the team was Arcees and Pristini along with Gunless. General remained as a substitute. But how could you make this team? How would you complete this team? That was Dashy. Bringing Batman Bruce back to OpTic Gaming. And now he's playing in that flex role with this team. Dashy technically stays with OpTic Gaming, but instead of OpTic Gaming Los Angeles, he moves over to OpTic Chicago. Unfortunately, I would have loved to see, you know, OpTic keep Arcees and keep him as that flex role. I think that team would be, on paper, probably the best team, if not tied for number one, if not tied for like a three-way tie with first. But Arcees ends up going over to Atlanta FaZe. We made a video on that one, but you know, I would like to see that one happen, but unfortunately not the case. So as I recapped in the Paris video, this video is also after the kickoff event where OpTic would end up facing off against the new team LA Thieves, Los Angeles Thieves. And just like they've showed throughout the preseason scrims so far, they dominated. The quick 3-0 fashion destroyed them. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, 250 to 50, but it was still, you could show who the better team was. You could definitely tell, you know, who was in control of that match. And although a couple mistakes that here and there, they looked relatively perfect throughout the entire event. I mean, it was only one match, but still, they looked really good and they dominated arguably the 4th overall team. But just to kind of recap everything, this team has been dominant so far throughout the entire year, only really losing to the Dallas Empire in scrims, you know, the occasional map to an occasional team. And, you know, of course, this team has been dominant. On paper, this is one of the best teams in the league. You know, switching back to 4v4, you got some amazing players on this squad. I don't think I have any doubts in saying this team is a top 4 team. I'd say that without question. I would say top 3 right now, especially beating the LA Thieves. You know, that's the 4th. That's my considered to be the 4th overall team. So I would definitely say they're better than them right now. So definitely top 3. I would definitely put them probably tied for 2nd, if not tied for 1st right now, just given scrims and given how much they've you know, played super well versus Atlanta. But top 4 team definitely winning some events along the way. You know, at some point, Dallas isn't going to be perfect. Atlanta's not going to be perfect. And, you know, OpTic will be in that spot. Hopefully winning some, if not all, but probably some events along the way. But with T2P back in action, we got Prince, Envoy, and we got Batman. Dashy back in the green and white, properly back home. This team has looked unstoppable so far. But I can't wait to see what these guys do this year when all the events start upcoming. And make sure you stay tuned, because in one of the next Call of Duty videos, we're going to be breaking down every team in one. Not fully detailed like we just did, but as a general idea, because some teams have moved up, some teams have dropped way down. We're going to do a full season preview of all of the CDL teams in a video upcoming. So make sure you subscribe to know when I upload that one. But with all that being said, guys, that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below. Leave all your thoughts and comments down below in that comment section. If you haven't yet, or if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Turn those notifications so you never miss any of my uploads. And as always, guys, see you in the next one.